Go fruit yourself.
Hey Fruit Bats, it's Freely the Banana Girl here. Welcome to today's session. Today I'm going to talk about something pretty personal to me, pretty close to my heart, and that's about having suicidal tendencies. Because before I came to this lifestyle, I did have my share of suicidal tendencies. Times where I just didn't want to go on, I didn't want to face another day, another hour, another minute of life. And why was that? Well, I'm going to get to it. But this situation in particular was one night when I had had enough. I've been working late at some shift work at a pub, and I went to this cliff that I used to hang out, and that night I actually wanted to drop myself over the cliff. And it's kind of, hard to talk about because it was a very emotional time in my life, and I'm here today, luckily, to be able to tell you it, and I've overcome those feelings, thank goodness. So here I am on this cliff, and I'm thinking about all the things going on in my life. I'm not happy with this, I'm not happy with that. Everything's bad, everything was negative. There wasn't any positivity. And I was thinking, is it going to hurt if I am I going to still live? If I throw myself over, I want it to be final. What about if I, drive a car into a tree? I was trying to think of different scenarios and what would be best. And should I overdose on drugs? And all these thoughts were racing through my mind. So that night was really a terrible time in my life, and actually a bit of a turning point, because not that long after, I found a high-carb vegan lifestyle, high-carb raw food lifestyle, and it basically saved me. I really feel that it saved me. Because at the time I was on a high-fat, low-carb, paleo/metabolic typing diet, which is starving your brain of fuel. My brain was totally starved of its number one fuel, which is glucose, and I couldn't think rationally. I absolutely could not think rationally, because I was eating this diet which was restricting my carbohydrates, restricting my fruit intake, and had me eating chicken livers for breakfast. And I was averaging actually a whole chicken a day. I remember my flatmate at the time was like, what are you doing? You're trying to get lean, you're trying to get happy and healthy, but you're smashing down a whole chicken a day. Even though he wasn't vegan or vegetarian, he knew there was something seriously wrong with what I was doing. So I was having crazy thoughts, of course. I wasn't getting that glucose to my brain, and I'm sitting here not connecting the dots, not being able to help myself because I didn't have the fuel. So this is a big lesson, hey, you have to if you have suicidal tendencies, if you have depression, you have to constantly get enough carbohydrates and keep your fat intake low. Because if you have too many fat calories, automatically you're not going to get enough carbohydrate calories, and that's going to affect your mental state. You're going to be angry, you're going to be irritated, panicky, depressed, all of those negative emotions which keep you disempowered. So that is really important when it comes to suicidal tendencies. So I ended up thinking about, my mum, and I was thinking about my brother, and they don't even know about this. I couldn't tell them. It was kind of embarrassing, the whole suicidal thing, because it made me feel weak, like a weak person. Why do I feel like this? Why do I feel so, what a victim I am. I'm so weak. And in some ways, you can get stuck in that victim mentality, but if you're not addressing your basic needs of getting enough glucose, then how are you going to get out of that victim mindset? You have to address your basic physiological needs, and number one is enough carbohydrates. So when I left there, my mum and my brother basically helped me leave the edge of that cliff, because I could not do that to them. And the funny thing is, I ended up actually going and smashing the fruit and the rice after that experience. And I was having cakes and all sorts of things, but I got a lot of carbs that night. And the next morning, guess what? I wasn't feeling suicidal anymore. I was actually whoa, what was I thinking? So I can honestly say I don't have those feelings anymore, because I'm consistently carbed up. I'm getting enough glucose to my brain, and that's why I make sure all the time that I'm getting these carbohydrates, because I know how important it is to my sanity and to my health and to my overall survival, if you know what I mean. So please remember that. Okay, this is an important message. If you're having those suicidal tendencies, you need to really address your carbohydrate intake. Make sure you're getting over 80% of your calories from carbs a day. Go to Cronometer.com and work it out. Less than 10% of daily calories from fat. And you are going to see, you're going to feel the difference. Trust me, you're going to feel it and make that connection with the carbs. So I hope that helped. And I will see you tomorrow for Friday. I'm not sure what the theme's going to be. Maybe Facebook Friday, maybe Q&A. Not too sure, but it's going to be good. So stay tuned. And don't forget to go fruit or root yourself. See you soon.
Banana Girl. Go fruit yourself.